Good evening mga kaibigan! Welcome to In My Toolbox, a weekly talk show for your personal finance only here at PHLV Radio. The goal of the show mga kaibigan is to give you financial information that you may be able to use on your day-to-day financial decisions. Of course, we will unbox topics that hopefully will be able to aid you and guide you and maybe even add to your financial tools. Mga kaibigan, we will tackle important information mostly not taught in school. But of course, this is so much needed to empower you financially. As usual, in any idea that will transpire in the show, always consult with your financial advisors, insurance professionals, tax consultants, etc., etc., etc. Again, mga kaibigan, my name is Enrico Pobre. I'm your host. I'm a sales marketing trainer, an entrepreneur, a financial professional as well. You know, and you're listening to, of course, to In My Toolbox. This is another episode of that. If you want to get in touch with me, below the chat box, of course, you can always chat with me, or you can just email me at enrico.inmytoolbox@gmail.com. If you want to figure out or know more about me, just Google my name, Enrico Pobre. I bet you will never, you will always find something about me, okay? So, again, welcome to our episode, mga kaibigan. Today, it's, of course, very, very timely, mga kaibigan. The topic is all about back-to-school budget. Sabi nga nila, back-to-school budget. So, back-to-school budget. Meron na ba kayong mga budget? Do you guys have budget already for back to school? Well, you should have started it long time ago, right? That's the right mindset. But anyway, mostly are not doing that. So what we're going to do is, of course, to talk about items that can help you, during this back to school. So back to school time can be definitely be financially challenging. That's why I want to talk to you guys about it. Whether the students in your life go to elementary, college, or somewhere in between, or even you yourself, even we're adults already, some of us really go to school still. So when you go to school, that's where we see very critical to budget carefully to get through the early part of that school and give your students or yourself the best start on your academic year. Ayan na. So, dito na naman tayo. It's all about back to school. And ayan na naman yung traffic. You're going to be seeing yourself driving your kids to school or driving yourself to school. One thing that is important to note about budgeting during this time of the year is that it's not always about spending. Again, budget is not always about spending amount of money. Well, when you look at it this way, when you use the word minimal, so yung tama lang sana, but the minimal amount, then the truth is you're actually depriving yourself. Kasi when people think about budgeting, it's almost everybody will think of cutting the budget. We only have a little amount of money to use. But again, the truth is, you don't have to deprive yourself. Budgeting is actually that we use to strategize so we can do the things that we truly need. Sometimes kasi, we shortchange ourselves, right? So, we really need this item, but we shortchange of ourselves because of the word budget, right? But we don't really have to really cut it out. But it's just a matter of strategizing so you will be able to afford things that you truly need and sometimes want, And education is one of the most important expenses out of, of every category that you'll have in your life. So it is critical to create a budget so you can afford all supplies needed for the school year. Okay, so the start thing, mga kaibigan, is of course tracking. You have to track it. Don't just go out there and start, buying stuff. Oh, I want this. Oh, I want that. Oh, I need this one. Oh, yeah, by the way, and remember, that kind of mindset of, yeah, you can splurge anytime because you don't track it. you may not have tracked your spending last year, but this year, you might want to try it out as well. You how do you start it? Information as much as you can, and you can even look up to old bank accounts or old bank credit card accounts or statements last year, during same time last year, school years. What were your expenses before, and how much what you really that you have spent in during that preparation for the new year, and now you'll be able to figure out what back to school spending last year. It's a good benchmark, So it's really important to have some idea. Not be having that idea because you track your previous expenses. This idea would typically tell you what you spend so you can create for this year. If you think you overspent things last year, now that's going to be your benchmark. You will now see how much you should be spending here. And of course, this is to figure out, a way to, again, let me just use that, cut the budget, but without depriving you or your student anything that is truly necessary. Again, the word here is necessary, right? So sometimes we deprive ourselves, even though it's necessary, because it's not in your budget. You don't spend. That's where the right mindset comes in. So if you do not have any idea naman, on the other hand, where to start, maybe you go Google and look at the national averages, So according to the National Retail Federation, it tells us the average family spending for this school year, or usually for back to school expenses, will be about less than $700, about $600 per student. This is just, again, guys, this is just average, So again, that's the reason why I'm urging you to do a little more so you know your benchmark, but that could be a benchmark as well. So we urge you, or I urge you guys, to be part of the population that actually spends less than the $700. So if you hit $700, then that's okay. The goal is, at least to spend less. But that's well, you are actually on your back to school spending. You're just about there, So you already know that you much. Okay? So to make your school season start on the right foot, there you go. I would want to make sure that I give you some tips. Okay, so number one, again, tracking or write down your budget in advance. I know it's going to be next week, but let's do it now. So just write down in advance. Plan your spending ahead of time and do it in writing. Don't just put it in your mind. I'm telling you, writing will actually help you a lot, And then, if you would want to augment more about this writing stuff, and you would want to know how to budget all of your school budget, learn from a lot of online applications there, or website, or you call it an academy, and how they could actually teach you about back to school programs where you can actually guided your. But again, it's just a budget. The thing here is your discipline to make it happen and make sure you stick to that budget. So otherwise, always, right? So read it down, my kaibigan. So you read it down, you already know, your budget, but do not allow yourself, to change it. Okay? Not unless it's absolutely necessary. Well, yeah, plans can change. That for a fact. You have that already written down. You want to make sure that you stick to it with all the discipline that you could have, and not unless, of course, it's absolutely necessary that you have to change. Because guys, a written budget doesn't help editing, and worse, you have your budget on your the budget, and then when you're actually out there, you keep on changing it, and there you go. There goes your budget. Well, I know that budget needs to be flexible, because budget is just a strategy, a side, and of course, we all have to adopt on certain circumstances, which I understand, but but keep your overall goals, spending limits. You have to make sure put it in your mind and a discipline attached to your budget. On the other hand, naman talaga what you will be purchasing. So don't just budget for how much you can spend, but of course, you need to write down specifics, specific items, all this pens, your paper, your notebooks, etc. Again, we have to do this. So you have this list or inventory, what you will have to have. Now, too many of us, naturally, right, we get into the habit of just buying everything on the list instead of we in fact see there's a lot of people who do that. We tend to forget the list already, right? And comparison shop will also be able to help you out, because especially now this crucial time of the year, that we would want around, you would want to compare. I'm telling you, comparison is gonna help you a lot. You use websites, you use newspaper ads. You have to go out there and really compare all of these prices. And remember that a lot of stores will stock up a lot of school supplies where it's above the inventory level. So just when you go out there, don't just look at the obvious retailers. I'm telling you, you will get definitely it's all worth it, meaning when you actually have a comparison shop. And you have to remember, there's what do you call this now, this store, the dollar stores, and some discount supermarkets, or maybe any local big box that you can go and make sure compare items that you would want to buy for this back to school. So you can afford, I know you can afford to buy cheap ones when it comes to cheaper ones when it comes to pencils, or I know you will definitely find the cheapest one out there, and then since your kids are going to use those items all throughout the year, so you might want to make sure that you buy the cheapest one, and that will be able to save you dollars or extra dollars that will last anyway. Maybe, yeah. Comparison shopping, mga kaibigan, you have to take advantage of one thing only, the prices, syempre, So you do the comparison there. It means that you do, and you do price match whenever you can. It will definitely help you. So many stores, the way actually price match. If they sell similar items, and you prove to them that you have a cheaper, you bought a cheaper paper in the site, or you just send them the site or the store, definitely they will be able to price match that, right? So look for discounts as well. I'm telling you, discounts will definitely help you save a lot of money there. Look for discounts everywhere you can. Use coupons. A lot of people does use coupons. Coupon clipping is the name of the game, and it's actually a great strategy for you to be able to save dollars. And especially, again, I was mentioning this time of year, all of this, great deals out there. You will definitely see it. You can even go to coupon online, or even your local papers. We still have those local papers right now. So, you will want to look at it and see, and you really, and you can even during sales events. Just want to make sure that you're very well informed where are these sales events are happening. You just have to keep an eye of all of these sales, and especially the stores that would want to clear out back to school inventory that they've built up, so they will be able to Usually the stores target specific weekends for big sales. So watch out for that one as well. I don't want you guys to miss an opportunity to save money by missing out on special events. I know you guys want special events. Raise your hands if you don't like special events. That's exactly what I mean. To be on the lookout. Again, not only that you have to go out there, you can even use your retailer apps. You try to look for, go to Google, look what this retailer apps that's available for you. So if you have your local retailers, that uses smartphone apps, I suggest you download them and of course sign up with an account, and there you go. This app will definitely help you become aware of good deals and give you access to special coupons and offers. We have a lot of those apps. In fact, right now, not for retailers but for ticket retailers, I'm always looking at the Eventbrite. That actually helps me and look at these tickets, what's going on, especially here in Las Vegas. You might want to look it up as well. What apps are available for you that you can use for your with your local retailers. So usually naman, especially this time of the year, back to school, you should have given your emails out there. Why? Because some retailers really ask for your email addresses. I know sometimes it's frustrating giving all of these emails because marketing, but the good side of that is these retailers, especially local retailers, they be able to actually help you, learn their special offers directly. So that's actually what's powerful. Rather than who would want to pay for a full price that you can get it at half the price? It's a no-brainer, really, guys. No. So you rather see yourself, getting all of these discounts in from these local retailers. And definitely when you give your email, they will be able to send you special offers. Even you would see this one in ads in the newspapers as well, but it's good that you already have it in your smartphone, right? So again, if you don't want your main email, use a secondary email where you can actually get all of these special offers. Nobody's stopping you for that. Sometimes we give a reason not to have it. Oh, those are just marketing. But what have you guys, this will be able to help you anyway get all the discounts that you need. So I suggest you get a second email for marketing purposes only. And so whenever you sign up on your local store that will ask for email, well, you can actually just put, whatever email, your secondary email, Enrico online at whatever, right? So I know you'll be flooded with more offers for discounts that you use, but definitely, especially now, the back to school, if this is something that's very pertinent for you, open that email, you'll see a lot of discounts out there. And of course, again, because we are in the era of internet age, right? So follow retailers on social media. That will definitely help you too. So if you have a Facebook, if you have a Twitter, oh, by the way, the Twitter logo changed now, right? Have you seen that, guys? It's that X, black collar X. Anyway, so follow the stores that you plan to shop with your back to school. Definitely they will be continuing. They will continue to announce sales, discounts, offers to followers like yourself. And I think this is a good idea as well. Well, again, use your secondary email for this one. Another one, you have to be on the lookout that you shop on. There's what you call tax-free weekends. Yeah, many local stores will offer that. This tax holidays that they call it, and where local sales taxes are waived for specific period of time. Any discounts, any fees, or any taxes that's being waived, I'll take it anytime. That's again stretching my dollars, correct? So these events or happenings are often, they're centered around this time of the year. The weekends on the back to school. So watch out. It's coming anyway. So you might want to watch it out. So I promise you, take advantage of this extra savings, especially if you need something expensive like maybe a computer, for college. This will definitely help you. Plan for your ongoing expenses. You won't be done spending after school bell rings. Nuh-uh. It's just starting, by the way, because after that, when the school bell rings, you have ongoing expenses to, for the whole year, like lunches, after school sports or club dues or fees, etc., etc., etc. And, don't spend every dime in your budget up front. So again, you have your budget and you can actually stretch that budgeting or strategy for the whole year because of this extra. Again, when the school bell rings, there's going to be another expenses that's awaiting for you. So, again, you might want to put that in your budget because please look at your budget very well and your money that you put aside. Don't spend every dime in your budget. Keep some for those future expenses that I mentioned. And again, your student or you yourself might be joining organization. There's going to be some fees, or your kids needs to have some signups after school activities, etc., etc. Right? So these are some things that you would want to put into your budget as well. At least you are now aware of it, and it's all under your radar, right? So again, speaking about school lunches, mga kaibigan, maybe you can plan to cook. If you've not been doing that last year, maybe planning to cook is another strategy. Not only that it could be healthier, it will save you a lot of money over the long run. When you cook a $10 meal, think about this one. When you cook a $10 meal versus a $10 McDonald's, you see what I mean there? You're gonna get more out of your money when you cook, right? So again, it's not only that it's healthier. You stretch your dollars there, and cooking is actually for school or lunches is actually a habit. So get into that habit. Prepare more meals rather than ordering out, and I bet you'll feel better. And especially when you see yourself that you're spending less. Think about whether you want to shop alone. What do I mean? What do I mean by this? We typically want parents, or you as a parent, to bring our kids to the store and let shopping be a learning experience. You can teach them about budgeting, and you can teach them about spending prudently, and even let them make some of their spending decisions. You can actually include them in the budgeting. What do you think if it's like this? Or this is the only thing that we have, how can we actually make use of it? Well, that's not really necessarily going to be maybe the right plan for everybody, but it's a good idea to consider. So if having the kids with you means you'll actually spend more because you're bringing them to a supermarket, they might be even asking you to buy toys, which is not part of the back to school program, right? They would want you to buy more treats, or you're afraid that they're going to be that you'll be able to they will be actually sell themselves to you or talk into buying some more expensive brands like that, right? So instead of buying generic, these are the things that can happen during shopping times. But then again, you can actually consider bringing them to the shopping and make it a learning experience from them. Well, some will actually still leave their kids at home and they rather shop alone, right? So again, don't sacrifice your budget if you're not ready to firmly guide all of your families back to school spending choices. What do you mean by this, guys? So include everybody in your family, how much you're willing to be spending this year, or what's your budget for this year, and make them part of it so they know what's your ceiling and what's the capacity, or what's your budget, or what's your strategy this back to school. Inventory your spending. You have to make sure that you're counting everything that you're buying and make sure that you're on the dot, right? So you might be, you might have a habit of okay, I'll just close my eyes and just buy this one because, I love my kids anyway, or this is the time of the year that I'll give in to what I want anyway, but look at this, guys. You want to make sure, guys, that you keep yourself within those lists. And then by next year, because you kept a record of every dollar that you spend this year, you'll be able to consult to that note for next year. And now, by next year, I'm telling you, you'll be able to create a more effective budget. So you can use the calendar or your the note on your smartphone, and so you can actually keep on tracking your spending when you're actually buying these items that you need for school. And in fact, personally, I do that. I use that notes in my smartphone. I list everything for my budget, for what I need to do, all my plans. I use all those apps, to be efficient on how I actually manage my money. And I think that's a good thing, right? So again, it's not for everybody, but if you think it's going to work for you, you might want to adopt it. Okay, so again, you would see all of those notes there, where you spend it, how much you spend, what date it was, etc. So it means that you're now becoming efficient. If you're not doing that, it's okay. But if you think that this is valuable, you may want to start doing it. So at least you have a benchmark on your budget. So again, maybe while you actually do that, you can set an alarm for next year, or a month or two in advance, or whatever, whenever that back to school is. Every year you keep on doing this, build that kind of a habit that it will actually now become part of you, and you see yourself efficient in managing your budget, and it's easier to manage now whenever it's back to school, because why? You've created that habit already. So if you miss your chance for this year, but I know we're still in the right timing at the moment, but if you will miss it this year, okay, that's what I mean. If you miss the chance of budgeting this year, make sure that, again, whatever you remember, write it up for whatever that you remember for this year. Better yet, you can go, if you're using one bank account for that, look at the statement. Now you will actually get everything that you spend for. That's, again, a good way of, giving you a guide for next year's budgeting for back to school. And, well, sometimes, we use our credit cards. Well, I'm not saying that it's bad, but if you've already run up credit card debt because of all of these things, back to school spending, well, it will help to speak to a credit coach about creating a plan to get that debt out of the way, in the next few months. And I think these credit coaches are worth it, because sometimes we need somebody to actually even guide us. Again, the biggest gap in the world is knowing and doing. You may know it, but you're not going to be doing it. In fact, you sell the idea of spending more to yourself. Well, that's tempting, right? So that's the reason why a good credit coach will be able to help you out with that, right? So before you knew it, again, I'm telling you, before you knew it, this is actually it's August. December is going to come. Before you knew it, it's holiday again. There will be another spending. Remember, during last year, December holidays, we were talking about an extra $1,300 expenses for that holiday. Now for school year, $700 for your school budget. Now, before you knew it, from today, it's holidays again. There goes another budget for holidays. That's the reason why you want to make sure that you speak to somebody that could guide you to pay off the debt before, I'm telling you, things get out of control and you cannot even, help yourself already, because it's already, what? A lot of debt. Mga kaibigan, this is actually a very short conversation with you. But, heart to heart, just going to want to make sure that, this back to school budget, make sure that you be serious on considering this one. Again, budget is not always about cutting it. It's just a way to strategize to make sure that you can afford to buy the things that you truly need and want for this school year. Again, mga kaibigan, this is another episode of In My Toolbox. We're talking about back to school budget. My name again is Enrico Pobre, signing off.